Hello Gear Facts friends! Today we're looking at Yamaha's PSS-A50 micro synthesizer keyboard, and I want to start this video with an enormous thank you and a big shout out to my fellow YouTuber Sandpuppy. You can't get these keyboards in Australia, so I contacted Sandpuppy, who was gracious enough to send one out from Europe so we could go through its features in detail today. Check out Sandpuppy's channel, it's very interesting. He's got a lot of vintage synthesizers, a lot of newer gear, a lot of unusual gear, but what makes his channel great is that he uses unusual methods to get the most out of these machines. It's very interesting viewing, and I strongly urge you to check it out. Now let's talk about the PSS-A50. So where does the PSS-A50 fit? Well, it seems to me that people who are likely to buy any kind of keyboard fit into one of several categories. Firstly, there's people who just want a toy, maybe just to see if the kids will get interested in music. So that's one category. The second category that I've noticed are people who have a home studio. They're not in a band, they don't play live, they just enjoy the technical experience and the very rewarding experience of making music at home. The third and similar category are similar musicians who will probably have a bit of a home studio going on, but they also get out and about and play live. They might be involved in one or more bands, or they might be doing solo live work. The fourth category, and we're speaking broadly here, are professional musicians. People who do music as a career, needing top quality sounds. They're often out on the road, often in the studio, and as such they need the highest quality sounds and components to fit that professional profile. So how does the PSS-A50 fit into any of that? Does it fill all the needs of any of those customers? Does it fulfill some of the needs of some of them? Is it useful right across the spectrum, or is it useless right across the spectrum? Let's take a closer look and find out. And of course we have various forms of piano. Alright, so we can see that it has many features: arpeggiator, effects, good collection of sounds taken from the PSS-A series. It has velocity control on the keys, although I will point out that some of the nuances that we found with velocity changes on the PSS-A series don't happen on this smaller PSS keyboard. But yeah, good sounds nevertheless. Quite a lot of scope to use your imagination when you put in the filters, the pitch modulations, portamento and sustain. All of those things give you a lot of creative scope. But where does this instrument fit? In that first group I mentioned before, children and absolute hobbyists, I think it provides everything you need, but also perhaps provides a little bit too much. There is of course the argument of, yes, well let's set the ceiling really high and see what kids can discover about synthesizers in their musical journey. That is certainly a fair point, so I think we can say for kids, this is a keyboard that definitely covers all bases. The mini keys as well, nice for small hands. Second group, people with home studios who aren't really interested in live playing. Yes, I think the PSS-A50 could fulfill quite a lot of your needs, because apart from playing basic melodies, you can develop some pretty good phrases. There are some great drum beats, accessible by choosing a drum kit and then going to the drum section of the Arpeggiator. And of course you can go ahead and combine any sound with any of the arpeggiators. So many conceivable combinations there, and then you've got your filters and portamento to add as well. So for people putting together music at home, the PSS-A50 could definitely provide you with some very useful components for larger compositions. But it certainly won't cover all bases on its own. And if you've already got a home studio set up, your synth might be able to do everything that this is doing anyway. The third group I mentioned were people getting out and playing live from time to time. Well, for you guys, there are some really good aspects to the PSS-A50 and some not so good. The obvious plus is the quality to size ratio. We've already heard the sounds, and just look at the size. It's tiny, barely even weighs a kilogram. The edges are rounded, it's got no protruding knobs or dials. So for portability, keyboards really get no better than this. You've got a 3-octave keyboard, albeit with small keys, and this gives you plenty of scope to play melodies or do a bit of soloing. Also a portamento effect helps with that. Using the arpeggios live though, I'd be a little bit cautious about that. You can often snap yourself out of time with the arpeggios, and there's no MIDI available, so I can see synchronization becoming a problem with the Arpeggiator and all your other gear if you try to play it live. And again, you have to ask yourself, can my other equipment do everything that it's doing anyway? If you are this kind of synth user, it's going to strictly be a very small portable and very handy backup unit. Certainly not a showstopper or a main feature. The last category, professional musicians. You people won't be remotely interested. This is actually my second video about the PSS-A50. I do really like it. It's a great idea by Yamaha to have something so small and so versatile. The question did have to be asked though, who's it for? How does it fit into an arrangement for your average musician? I hope this video has answered that question for you. Thanks again to Sandpuppy who went to so much trouble to get this thing right across the globe to me so I could bring it to you today. Thanks for watching Gear Facts. Look forward to seeing you on the next one.